Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. The transfer window has now officially closed. No more silly links with players, last-minute stories from random outlets. Everybody who has left the club has left either on loan or for sale, obviously, and certain players still at the club, which I want to discuss. But the main topic, of course, I forgot to put my bloody green screen on the thing. This has started absolutely magical. I don't think I can do it now. I'm supposed to have green screen on the TikTok, but it's not there, so we move. Anyway, we're going to discuss Mason Greenwood going on loan to Getafe. I have a theory on that I want to discuss. I want to touch on Amrabat's role in this team, do a little bit of analysis, and talk about his official announcement, some of the quotes coming out from that. The UCL fixtures are out, so I want to discuss the order of them and the tough ones and the easy ones, etc. Bruno Fernandes has received Player of the Month for Manchester United. Is that the right decision? I'm not entirely sure. But again, we'll talk about that. So if you're happy about this weekend and football's back, please do smash a like on the TikTok video or smash a like on YouTube and subscribe to Real Reds Talk with 3 subscribers off 3,250. So if there's 3 of you in the chat right now who haven't subscribed, then please do that. Let me read out the quote about Mason Greenwood. And we'll dive into the details together for anybody asking. So, excuse me. From Manchester United, Mason Greenwood has signed for La Liga side Getafe on a season-long loan. The move enables Greenwood to begin to rebuild his career away from Manchester United. The club will continue to offer its support to Mason and its family during this period of transition. Manchester United will cover the majority of Mason Greenwood's £75,000 a week wages at Getafe. So, first and foremost, Getafe clearly aren't bothered what the fans think. They're not asked about the PR. I had a look on their Twitter post last night when they announced it, and it was just you can already imagine the comment section. I don't need to go through it, but the comments were going off, and there was a lot of unhappy fans, especially of the club. This whole saga a couple of weeks ago when it got announced that we was going to bring him back, that was obviously the plan that Richard Arnold had, and then he made a U-turn on that plan when he saw the reaction online, which doesn't surprise you because we did the same thing with Arnautovic, which is a completely different situation. But the fans saw that, reacted, and then they didn't end up doing it. And it's happened a few times, if we're being completely honest. But with that situation in particular, he leaked it out there to see what reaction it'd get. It got an horrendous reaction, rightfully so. And everybody wasn't a fan of it. So he made a U-turn and he was like, right, well, we're going to have to loan him out. Weirdly enough, we got to the end of the window last night and I think it didn't happen until was it like 10:30, the last half an hour? So everyone's kind of sat there. I don't know if you guys were thinking the same as me, but I was sat there thinking, is he going to stay? What happens if we don't manage to send him out on loan? And then he's just kind of lingering about the place. Like, just what would he do? Would he be training? Would he be officially in the squad? Like, it was, I don't know. It's weird to have someone lingering about like that, innit? And I don't mean in that way, obviously, but you take my point. It's just weird to have someone there who's not playing, who's just going to be training and using the facilities. So I'm glad he's gone out on loan. My theory is, I think if you're going to send someone out on loan like that, and it's a season-long loan, we're not terminated his contract or anything like that. We've not, it's not an obligation to buy. It's just a straightforward loan where we are paying most of his wages. And what I think Manchester United are going to end up doing, they're going to loan him out there, and it's going to be 2 situations that come out of this, in my personal opinion. I think one, if he starts bagging goals for Getafe, and starts, let's say he gets double figures in La Liga and more clubs are starting to look at him. I think United, after a year, time is a big healer. Not in my opinion. I don't want him to ever play for the club again. But I think for Man United, they'll look at it as like time is a big healer. And if he starts scoring again, he's a valuable asset. And I think they'll either sell him. And if they sell him, like, fair enough. If you get 20 mil, whatever it is for him, and then you've got some money there, which again I'm not asked about, but you've got some money there. Or I think inevitably they will bring him back. I do, after a year, if he starts bagging. Rasmus, I don't know what's going to happen with Rasmus Højlund. Hopefully he works out. But there's a lot of pressure on him to say, go score 20 plus goals as a 20-year-old who's only scored 9 goals for Atlanta. There's a lot on there, and he's got a huge price tag above him. So will they look at that situation like, maybe it's been a year now, he's moved on with his life, he's a father, he's done this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Let's see how he gets on at Getafe, and then we'll take it from there kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Will he even become the player that he once was? obviously at Manchester United, he was regarded as a generational talent. He had everything left foot. I mean, there's a clip of Gary Neville saying in there, left foot, right foot, can head, athletic, football intelligence, had everything. But that the fact that he's been out for 18 months can't be understated, can it? He's been out for a long, long time. And if you drop off 2% in the Premier League, it shows. It really, really shows. So I don't know if he's at that level. I remember seeing a training video. I'd have put it on the TikTok actually the other day, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, that looked terrible. It looked awful, like a kid on the park. So I don't know what his level is going to be like. Look, I'm not going to lie. Am I going to watch him at Getafe to see if he's still got it or not? Yes. Do I want him back at United? If he starts bagging 30 goals, no, I don't. I don't want him back at United regardless of whatever situation. And I know there's going to be people, especially in the TikTok, because I've seen that frequently, pushing for him to come back and pushing for this. But like I said, I don't want him anywhere near the club. Big up to the people in the YouTube and the people who left a like on the video for me. Thank you very much. I don't know. I'm very bright here, aren't I? Don't know what's going on. A lot of exposure. Don't know. Yeah, no idea. Shah Sam has put the nick emojis in the chat. If you want use of the emojis, exclusive content, a badge next to your name, and a chance to feature on a live show with the lads, then please do consider becoming a member. The members video is going to drop this weekend at some point, either tonight or tomorrow. I've not forgot about that. That will drop, so don't worry about it. Anonymous Mango says, I don't think the fans will ever allow him to return to the club and play. We've seen how we manage to get them overturn his reintegration. We can do it again. And again, I would agree with that. Let me just turn down this light in a sec because it's fucking well overexposed. Maybe that'll be a bit better. Not any better? A little bit, but I still feel very, very bright. What are people saying in the TikTok? I already know what people are going to say. United Daily's in the house. Big up, you absolute legend, saying we need to move on. I don't want to see him back personally. He looks like he's completely lost it, says MR10. I'll be watching Getafe, says Jed Rowlands. Sorry, got you wrong. I thought you wanted him back. No. No, I thought you were on about Amrabat. Getafe have a buy option. No, just a straight loan. That's what I mean. Yeah, to be fair, TikTok isn't as bad. Usually when we do lives, there's a lot of crazy people in the TikTok chat. So, yeah, I think obviously United are going to be keeping a close eye on Mason Greenwood at Getafe to see how he gets on. And look, I don't know how the fans are going to react inside the Getafe stadium. I don't know what the transfer policy is like. I don't know how they are run as a club in general. I don't think a lot of people do. Who watches Getafe every week? Let's be honest. So let's just see. They've obviously took a gamble on it. I remember a similar situation happened. Was it Ched Evans who went to Sheffield or Oldham or something like that? Like no club wanted him and someone just took a punt because he was like, fuck it, we need goals. And they ended up doing it. So yeah, look, I'll keep a close eye on Greenwood and see how he gets on at Getafe because I think United are going to try bring him back next year. I really, really believe that. Anonymous Mango says, number 1, 4, 11, 15, 17, 26 are said to be now occupied by new signings and 17 obviously with Garnacho. Yeah, the Garnacho one went a little bit under the radar, didn't it, to be honest with you? The 17, because that kind of got announced whilst a load of shit was going on. So, yeah, Garnacho is number 17. What number will Højlund get? Now Greenwood's gone to Getafe, will Højlund get number 11, I'm guessing? Yeah, probably. I mean, to be honest, I'm not really too fussed about numbers. It's a number. As long as you play good, I'm not asked. You've got number 105 on your back. Just bad goals. That's all I'm asked about personally. But it'll be interesting to see what number Amrabat gets and what number Højlund gets. Scoreboard's in the chat saying if he returns, it'll start up another civil war in our fan base. That's a very smart comment, Scoreboard. Your place in the Cosmos says, yes, Nick, you good, brother. I'm very well, thank you. Hope you're doing well on this weekend and you've got a Guinness cracked open, ready for all the antics ahead. Maybe it's a bit early to have a Guinness, but who knows? Fuck it. Right, let's talk Amrabat now. Official announcement last night. We didn't go live last night because we'd spoken about Amrabat that much. I don't think there was anything else we could possibly say about him. Like we was live whilst we got the here we go, so we kind of already spoken about it in that regard. But it is official, and I just wanted to start by saying, look, there was a few Liverpool fans on this platform, especially on TikTok. Again, full of crazy people. When I put the announcement out about Amrabat, and I was like, Shreyas were talking about it, and we were saying for midfielders who are on the market right now, who are actually up for sale. Sorry. Yeah. A drink of water, fuck me. For sale. So, obviously, Paulinho move broke down to Bayern Munich, but he wasn't officially up for sale. Fulham were out there saying, we're selling him. Who wants to buy him? It was kind of last window. Bayern Munich offered decent money. Fulham looking for a replacement. I'm talking about midfielders that were openly on the market, and clubs knew this. Amrabat was one of the better ones, in my opinion. Now, Liverpool fans and other fans took this and kind of ran away with it and was like, the best midfielder? Are you joking? Blah, blah, blah. You only done well in the World Cup, whatever, blah, blah, blah. First and foremost, no, he didn't. He's Fiorentina's best player by a country mile. Second of all, in the final, in the Conference League against West Ham, he was better than Declan Rice. 100% better than Declan Rice. Does that mean he's better overall? I don't know, but he was just better in that game. Everything I've seen from him, he looks really, really, really good and really competent. We're getting a deep line playmaker, a ball-winning midfielder, a destroyer, a player who's got a great engine, stamina, aggression, very competent in the progressive passing department. For Morocco, he was set up in a more defensive kind of unit in the 4-1-4-1, but showed his ability there as the engine, winning balls, marking very well. But then in Fiorentina, I believe they've got one of the highest possession rates on average. So he was more of a playmaker as well. He's got them lovely long balls, not in that way. He's got them lovely long balls. He can spray it out wide. You know, he can carry the ball. He can be like a water carrier from back to front. Like, he's a good, decent player. And I was looking at a stat before. So he's ranked in the top 1% of footballers in the world at progressing the ball. But no, Liverpool have got Endo, so they're going to win the league. Like, come off it. You know what I mean? You know what, as well? Amrabat's also like... do you remember, I hate this comparison because it's a City player, but do you remember how Fernandinho was in the dark arts, kind of getting a yellow card at the right time and doing these kind of things? He's smart at that. He does pick up a lot of yellow cards, but with the position that he's in, and for the price that we could potentially get him for 20 million, it's like, come on, that is a tap-in, mate. That's an absolute tap-in for Sofyan Amrabat. I'm surprised Fiorentina. I know the player was pushing for Man United specifically. But I'm sure Fulham went in for like a 30 million bid. They would have accepted that. Nottingham Forest came in with a bid. Like, a lot of teams wanted him. Not just like lower teams, like higher level teams as well. There was teams in Saudi. There was teams in Spain. He was a well-wanted player. It was obvious. But I think he's a great addition. I really, really do. I'll read out your comments in a second. So keep getting him in, because I want to get your opinions on Amrabat as a player. But there were some quotes to read out. So Sofyan Amrabat, it's a huge honour to become a Manchester United player. I've had to be patient for this moment, but I'm someone who always listens to my heart, and now I'm representing the club of my dreams. I'm a passionate player. I want to bring that energy to the squad, and I will put everything into every action I take for the team. I love that comment. I know exactly how Erik ten Hag likes to work, what he needs from his players. I know that he will help to bring out the best of my abilities so that I can help the group to be successful this season. Now I am at the club of my dreams. What a line, by the way, that is. Welcome to Manchester. Sofyan Amrabat, welcome. John Murtaugh, or other known as Ronald McDonald, says, we have tracked Sofyan Amrabat for a long time, and we are now really pleased to bring him to Manchester United. His committed, high-energy approach to the game fits perfectly with the group that we are building here. And we know that Sofyan's mentality, dynamism, and technical qualities will help the squad as we look to achieve success in all competitions this season. Look, I've already said he deserves a statue for his patience for the club, because the way United have done in the transfer market has been disgraceful, especially with outgoings and this deal in particular. If you look at what the deals that Man City did at the end of the window, you look at what Chelsea did at the end of the window, even other clubs, and I think Matheus Nunes for City cost like 60 million. I think Tottenham spent 50 million on Brendan Johnson, didn't they? Chelsea spent a load of money on Cole Palmer and a few others towards the end. And then we're sat there saying, can we loan Amrabat, but we'll give you 20 mil next year? Like Manchester United, mate, what are you going on about? So that was just embarrassing on our part. And Amrabat had to wait from like early June to get the move. He had to sit there, deny a load of clubs and be like, nope, I want Man United, I want Man United until the very end of the window. So for that, he deserves a fucking statue alone. In terms of how he'll be used, will he play alongside Casemiro? Will he play instead of Casemiro at times? Pretty much, yeah. He'll do. There'll be certain games, for example, I'm going to talk about the Champions League fixtures shortly. One of the first games is Bayern Munich away, by the way. In that type of game, when you're coming up against Kimmich, Goretzka, you got Musiala floating around in there as well, you need an Amrabat and a Casemiro and then a Bruno ahead of them. You can't go into that game with Mount, Bruno, and Casemiro. You get absolutely destroyed. So them games will be important alongside Casemiro. But then, of course, there'll be games in the league. You know, even if you've got tough away leagues, let's say you've got Palace away, or you've got a game in the cup competition where you can play Amrabat as a single pivot and then maybe have a Mount and Bruno Fernandes alongside him, or you push a Bruno and Mount onto the wings. There's a lot of rotation and options. That's the reasons why Erik ten Hag has signed him effectively. But yeah, the important one is Casemiro to get a rest as well, because last season when Casemiro didn't play, and then you're putting Scott McTominay, let's say, or Fred as a 6, or Sabitzer as a 6, or Bruno Fernandes as a 6, you sat there scratching your head thinking, no, we can't be doing that in the big games. So Amrabat, mega important signing, and I'm very happy with it. Box is saying McTominay makes the bench. Wait, I've missed a few. Big up to Mango in the chat. I think when we have everyone fit, especially with the new signings, Maguire and McTominay won't even make the bench. Wow. Potential bench Bayern Dalot, Lindelof, Malacia, Amrabat, Ericsson, Mainu, Garnacho, and Sancho when everyone's fit. I think that's a good point. But McTominay would make the bench. I also agree with that box. Casemiro looking a little slow, needs to up his game. The thing is with Casemiro, though, notoriously, he is a slow starter. If people kind of cast their mind back to last year, McTominay was keeping Casemiro out of the team, wasn't he? And Casemiro looked off the pace a little bit there. He's done it for Real Madrid. He has slow starts to the season, and then he picks it up. I think I remember Andy Mitten saying that on Talk of the Devils. Like, he is notoriously slow starter. So just, don't count Casemiro out yet, like Jamie Carragher is basically. He's done a whole article on him because he loves spending time talking about United players when he should be worrying about his own club, where Mo Salah could potentially fucking off to Saudi Arabia. So he needs to focus on his own club rather than Manchester United and talking shit about that. Just let me read out a few more comments, actually. I think we'll see this team quite a bit this season where Anthony's dropped, Onana, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro, Amrabat, Mount, Rashford, Højlund, Fernandes. Yeah, I put that in the group chat last night, actually, funnily enough. That exact team, I think. Gray saying, we have wingers for the wings, so I can't see Bruno or Mount being used there often. I know, but the wingers haven't been consistent at all. I mean, Anthony was okay in the last game, but there will come a point, I think, in the season where he needs to drop Anthony. And I think that's one of the reasons why he has kept Palestri on as that competition. You got Ahmad coming back as well, who can play on that right side. So, yeah, I think there's going to be plenty of competition. And he needs to be dropped at some point because you can't have favourites. I know you've bought him for a lot of money, but you can't have favourites. Danny is saying play Bruno and Mount on the wings sometimes for ball retention. Absolutely, Danny. Absolutely. He gets paid to talk about football. I don't think that's how it works. I don't know who you're on about there. Let me read a few more comments out. What we're saying on TikTok, you legends. When does the Saudi transfer window end? There's a couple of things on this. So apparently it finishes on the 7th or the 12th, I think it is. But on the official thing, it says the 27th. So I don't know. There's a couple of dates. You're making excuses for Casemiro. I'm definitely not. If you watch Casemiro, anyone who's watched Casemiro in the chat or here will know he is a notoriously slow starter. That's not making excuses. That's just watching football. So maybe you need to do your research, mate. Not a big club anymore. Loans, debt, Mount, Maguire and Amrabat there for the wages only. I mean, come on. Amrabat's on 70k a week. What are you talking about? How's he going for the wages? On £70,000 a week, like 4.5 million euros a year. Jack Evans says, I'd change the banner to Europa League, mate, where you'll be soon. Well, we're in the Champions League this season, mate, so I'm not changing nothing. Liverpool are in the Europa League, so all they'll be hearing is Glad I don't have to hear that anymore. Clearly got loads of Liverpool fans in the chat. I love it. When Liverpool fans are triggered, I absolutely love it. 30 people in the chat. Make sure you leave a like on the video for us and subscribe to the channel. We're 3, or before I went live at least, we was 3 off 3,250. So do subscribe. And everyone in the TikTok as well. If you're a fan of United, you're a fan of football content, you like reviews, watch-alongs, interactive stuff where we do quizzes and things like that, then make sure you check out Real Red Stock. The link is in the bio. If you're a Liverpool fan or an Arsenal fan, I don't give a shit. Stay in the chat and give me some shit and we'll have a back and forth. I don't mind. How do you know how much Amrabat is on? Because it's out there. How do you know how much he's on? Bayern and Kane will knock you out in the Europa League, mate. Have you seen the other two teams in you know what? You're giving me the perfect segue here because I was going to talk about the Champions League group stages anyway. So let's talk about that. So the 20th of September, we play Bayern Munich away. That's the first game that we've got. That's the toughest game in the group by a long, long way. If you can go there and get a draw, I mean, was it David Moyes who went there when Paddy Evra scored that rocket in the top corner? So if Moyes can win there or get a draw there, I'll absolutely take it. Is it going to be tough? Yeah, absolutely. They've invested significantly in their squad, the players that they've brought in. Harry Kane, Kim Min-jae. They was going to get Paulinho, but they didn't get him. But let's be honest, they've still got solid midfielders in there anyway, in Kimmich and Goretzka. They've got Musiala, who's a top player. Gnabry's a problem. Sane's a problem. And I think they'll go quite far in the Champions League. So if you can go there and get a draw, you're instantly getting through that group. Because then we've got Galatasaray at home. Galatasaray aren't special. I mean, they've signed fucking Wilfried Zaha, Ricardo, and a couple of others. But these are like, they're not top-level players, are they? Zaha on his day can be a problem. But let's not pretend that we haven't played Palace for the last 10 years and beaten most of the time. So, yeah, Galatasaray at home, Copenhagen at home is just like a tap-in again. Copenhagen, in comparison to Manchester United, easy. Another tough fixture, Galatasaray away. Galatasaray away can be feisty, mate. Very, very feisty. The fans are absolute nutcases. So that's a hostile atmosphere. You know, United away from home aren't great as it is anyway. That could be a bit of a slip-up. And then the last game on the 12th of December is Bayern Munich at home, which I'm definitely going to try and get tickets for. Which, that's the last game. Hopefully, we're already through by that point. But if you're relying on that last game to get through, that's going to be a tricky one. I looked at some of the performances in the Europa League last season, and we did well. I thought when we went to the new camp, we did very, very well. Probably the better team, to be honest with you. And then we knocked Barcelona out, who were, won the league last year. So we can put in good performances. I'm just worried about us sometimes away from home. It's a little bit annoying. Do you actually rate your manager being there over a year and still doesn't understand how he plays? Well, the first year, he had to change it up. He couldn't play the style that he wanted from Ajax. I remember the first 2 games against Brentford and Brighton. He tried playing out from the back and we got caught and we conceded a couple of goals. So straight off the bat there, even if you look at the metrics, we started going long a lot more. And then after that, after the Brentford game, when he took him on a run and stuff, we went and won 4 in a row. So he made a tweak, he changed it. It was fine. And we had to consider we had Martial, Weghorst and Ronaldo, who only got 6 league goals between them, or 7 league goals, I think it might have been between them, and we came third and won a Carabao Cup, and he was playing Weghorst as a 10 at the Camp Nou. And everything else he had to deal with, the Greenwood situation, the Glazers announcing that they're selling the club, Ronaldo speaking to Piers Morgan and all this crap, and he got third, but you don't rate the manager. I don't understand it. This season, he started off, and it's been a little bit mad, to be honest with you. It's been a bit flaky, but everyone's blaming the midfield. There's a lot more to it than that. And he even said that in the press conference. Like, the defence weren't doing the job. They weren't pushing up enough. The attackers aren't scoring. None of our attackers have scored yet, but no one's talking about that. They just want to talk about Mason Mount because they use him as a scapegoat. But the front three, none of the front three have scored. Rashford, Garnacho, Sancho, Antony, Martial, none of them have scored in 3 games. That's the worrying thing for me. So that's something that needs to be addressed. Hopefully, Højlund coming into this Arsenal game, he'll get a couple of goals on his debut. That'll be absolutely amazing. No pressure at all on him. But yeah, we'll have the Arsenal preview at 5 o'clock. So me, Sam, Shreyas, and Chive are doing the Arsenal preview on the YouTube channel at 5 o'clock. It'll be very interesting. We're going to do a combined 11, which I've put my own personal one up on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. But I'm going to get them to create their own combined 11. We're going to do a warm-up at the start with some Arsenal and United trivia, and then we're going to talk about the game in general. So if you want to come check that out, check the link out in the YouTube at 5 o'clock, or just subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you do not miss a thing. I want to talk about Bruno Fernandes, with Player of the Month, but before we get into that, let's read out some comments, shall we? Let me have a look. Big up everyone in the chat. Appreciate every single one of you. You're all on a Saturday as well, when you could be doing, I don't know, whatever you do on a Saturdays. Shreyas saying, hello, how are we doing today? Very well. Hope you're good, mate. Looking forward to the preview later on at 5 o'clock. Bayern midfield is suspect, to be honest. I mean, I've heard things about it. I haven't watched them a lot, I have to be honest. But it's Kimmich, it's Goretzka on the day. Fantastic. Musiala, I'm a big fan of as well. Big player. Henry Jones, we're getting battered 3-4-0. Love the positivity. Box says, Mata had a spell at Galatasaray. I heard about that. Yeah. Galatasaray at home is hard. They've got Zaha, Icardi. Oh, I'm not worried about them, mate. Not worried about them at all. Galatasaray are pants, to be honest. It's like Box says there, Turkish league best player is Michy Batshuayi. Do you know what I mean? That tells you everything you need to do. Anthony is a failure. Compare him to Bex and Kanchelskis. He isn't a patch. Well, Anthony's, yeah, he's up for debate in a minute. Absolutely. And your midfielders are world class. Not. Andrew Robinson's on one today. He is on one today. People seem to get that kind of kick out of slagging United off, don't they? Hated, adored, never ignored. Speaking about hated, adored, never ignored, Bruno Fernandes voted Manchester United Player of the Month for August. I'm not sure how I feel about that, to be honest. I know they kind of have to give it out. I don't even think anyone deserves it for the past couple of games. You're talking about Tottenham game was shit. Wolves should have beat us in the first game. I don't know how we got out of that game 1-0, but they should have beat us. And then the last game, Nottingham Forest going 2-0 up within, 10 minutes or something? Horrendous from a lot of the players at the club. So Bruno Fernandes getting Player of the Month, I don't agree with. I mean, if you was going to give it to anyone, I would probably give it to Wan-Bissaka or Onana or Varane. For the individual performances that they put on. Nobody else deserves it. Bruno was shit against Tottenham. He was shit against Wolves. But yeah, I don't know. They've given it him, so it is what it is. He's the captain. He needs to do better. And I'm going to have a very close eye on Bruno Fernandes in this Arsenal game as well, because away from home in the big fixtures, sometimes he does struggle. He does lose his head. And I don't want to see that tomorrow. I want to see more of a performance like he did against Nottingham Forest, because he pulled the team from behind there. And he was actually decent in that game. So that's what I want to see more from Bruno Fernandes. If you're going to be the captain of Manchester United, the expectations are going to be absolutely huge, aren't they? So looking forward to it. I believe the first game's just kicked off on it. Everton versus Sheffield, is it? I think. So, yeah, look, I would have loved to have Amrabat for this game. He would have been perfect for that midfield, because you're going to the Emirates. It's tough, one of the toughest places to go to, and you need someone like that. But is it going to be Eriksen? Is it going to be a few others? I don't know. It's going to be a strange one. But like I said, make sure you all do tune in for that preview, because it's going to be exciting. We've got loads of stuff, like I said, trivia. We've got stuff towards the end, combined 11s, predicted 11s, score predictions, all that kind of stuff. And I want you guys to be in there, putting your combined 11s in and getting your opinions in. So, yeah, make sure you do that. Let's have a look. Galatasaray struggled against Mold, says Pot. Yeah, I'm not worried about Galatasaray in the slightest. I'm not. Wan-Bissaka was man of the match against Wolves and the only guy that played okay against Tottenham. Yeah, Lou says, Mark Goldbridge says Bruno's the best captain in the Prem at the moment. He's not. I don't know what Mark Goldbridge is smoking. Look, I'm obviously a massive United fan, but Bruno Fernandes isn't the best captain in the league. He's not the best midfielder in the league, in my opinion. On his days, he can be, but how many players have we said that about? That's the issue. Sheffield United versus Everton. Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was. But that's just got 0-0 written all over it, hasn't it? 100%. Shaw Brown says, we love captain Bruno Fernandes. Bruno. Okay. Andrew Robertson in caps, you struggled against Wolves. We did. I've just said that. Johnny Evans back. He's desperate. His pants. Yeah, that Johnny Evans one is just like, I don't really understand that, to be honest. I mean, if Maguire did not get the hint that Ten Hag doesn't want him here, you know, he's basically sixth choice. Like, you've got Lissandro running your main partnerships. Lindelof is probably third choice. Luke Shaw as a centre-back is fourth choice. Johnny Evans is now coming. And then you've got Maguire as well. It's like, yeah. What a nightmare. Bruno's hit and miss. Casemiro doesn't wake up until January. It's a fair comment. I don't know about January, but it's a fair comment. We need a stronger squad. Yeah, well, that's another thing that Erik Ten Hag was touching on in the press conference. He was saying that, you know, talk about last season, the amount of minutes that was played. Bruno Fernandes played the most minutes in Europe, I think. Second to De Gea. It was like an amazing amount of minutes that had been played. We went really far in all the competitions. Obviously won the Carabao Cup, got to the final of the FA Cup. 38 games in Premier League, and then 36. 36 in it. Yeah, because it's 19. I think 36 games in the Premier League. And then Europa League quarterfinals. So we played a lot of games, and I think doing that and then having the preseason that we had, going left, right, centre, here, there, everywhere, has kind of fucked up our fitness, and it's kind of made us disjointed a little bit. So I think the slow start to the season, there's a number of variables involved in that. But I think after a month or so, when the signings settle in, you know, Højlund's not even played a game for us yet. Mount's only had a couple of games. Onana's a brand new keeper, which is like the most pressurised position at Manchester United. So there's a lot of things that need bedding in. I think once them things are bedded in, I think we will look decent. But it's a lot of asking. It's a lot of asking, isn't it? How long until Højlund is fit? He's ready. He's ready to start against Arsenal. He's ready to go. Hi, it says, I think we're going to go at 3 at the back, so we can do 3-3-1-3 setup. I mean, in possession anyway, we kind of do that kind of 3-2-5 build anyway, where a full back will invert and then you'll have your 3. A midfielder, and Amrabat, for example, or Casemiro will drop into the back 3, and then Lisandro and Varane will split. So we kind of play that anyway. Nice, thought he was back, was knackered. No, he just had a little bit of it's called like a hotspot injury, something like that. So he's ready to start. You fans love to call players failures way too early. Remember Salah and KDB at Chelsea, Modric at Spurs. You think those clubs wouldn't love to have those names back in that lineup? What player are you referring to, though? And I'll happily discuss it with you. Happily. Henry Jones says 38 Premier Leagues, 10 Europas, 7 Carabao, 7 FA Cups, 62 in total. HVB says 3-2-2-3. Okay. Bob Eamon says Casemiro should be phased out slowly by Mainu this season. It's going to be declined slowly, so Mainu will be very... I think Mainu, regardless whether Casemiro declines or whatever, will be an important player for us. Forgetting he's only young, innit? So he's got years ahead of him. It was obvious that Ten Hag was pushing him in pre-season to trying to get them minutes. He looked competent, was just about to start against Real Madrid, and then bang, gets that injury, and you kind of gutted for him, aren't you? But I've done an analysis on Kobbie Mainoo on the TikTok, which has done relatively well, and people are big fans of that, and I'm a big fan of Kobbie Mainoo as well. So check that out if you haven't seen it, the analysis on Kobbie Mainoo. And I've done one on Amrabat as well, which Liverpool fans will love. Will Amrabat play tomorrow? No. I think because we didn't sign him until after Luton played, I don't think he'll be able to play this weekend. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's that. Box says Mainoo at just 18 will not be very important in such a crucial position centre mid. That would be negligible. Okay. Don't know. My name is. But what other name am I supposed to say if your name is HHHBVDB HDB HRHAND? Like that's your name on YouTube, isn't it? So I'm going to call you by that because I don't know your name. Charlie Malman says, I would have liked the move for Greenwood to Lazio to have happened since it was a Prem move. Greenwood will be back next summer and United are still spending money on the player. I've just subscribed. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, brother. Gabriel Ojar says, thanks. I don't know what for, but you're welcome. Charlie Malman says, if Amrabat was registered before 12 this morning, he could have played tomorrow. Yeah. Triple H. Okay, I'll call you Triple H. Not a problem. The fans that are repeatedly calling Anthony a failure. I don't think he's a failure. I just think it's been up and down, hasn't it? I think when you analyse his season last season, he was very up and down. He had great performances against Arsenal. He had good performance against Barcelona in the second leg. But he also had really bad performances where he's just like, his output, he's not getting goals and assists. He's having 5, 6, 7 shots a game and not even getting them on target. So people rightfully going to get frustrated with him. The price tag isn't his fault. You know, the fact he got bought for £80 million isn't his fault. And you use the same kind of principle for Maguire's price tag. Because everyone moans at Maguire, £80 million defender, blah, blah, blah. But the price tag isn't his fault either. So you have to measure the criticism, is the point, I suppose. Bruno played 62 games last season and most in Europe. Yeah, it was like 3,800 minutes, wasn't it, or something. Numpty says United needs to develop youngsters like City developed Foden. No need to rush players into starting every single game. And I think that was the issue under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. When we was bringing players in, the environment wasn't the best, was it, for him to grow? I think they lacked out on coaching for a couple of years and missed out. And now you see the players, when Ten Hag's come in, they're getting proper coaching, they're setting the standards. I mean, a lot of them has been sold. That's one thing I said that's gone under the radar that people haven't even spoken about. A lot of youngsters have been sold. Teden Mengi's gone, Ethan Lairder's gone, Zidane Iqbal's gone, Gerardo's gone. More that I can't think of off the top of my head. Just gone, just sold like that, bang, in a bit. Not good enough. Charlie Savage has gone. Kovar as well. Sold loads of him. So now there's big gaps opening now. And they're setting the standards, saying if you want to get into this team, you have to perform at the level of a Garnacho or a Kobbie Mainoo. You have to be a special talent to progress in this team. And I think that's a good standard and precedent to set for the rest of the squad. In my opinion, Charlie Malman says there was 2 exciting things going on. One, the laughter coming from Ten Hag when they asked questions about Amrabat and how excited Ten Hag sounded when Højlund will most likely start tomorrow. It looked in good spirits, didn't it, in the press conference? Henry Jones says that's why Brandon Williams has turned to what he is. Yep, agreed. Onana off to the African nations. So's Amrabat as well. If we can get a point tomorrow, then regroup with new players after international break. Be happy. Yes, Paul, you make a very, very good point there, because you don't want to go into the international break losing to Arsenal, having to sit on it for 2 weeks and then come back. If you can get a result tomorrow, that sets a positive standard. You come back, you're like, right, we've got 9 points from 12. Decent start. Shouldn't have lost against Tottenham, but it is what it is. 9 points from 12 would be good, considering you played Tottenham and Arsenal within them games. You come back, everybody's ready, everybody's fit and raring to go. All your new signings, including Amrabat and these guys. So yeah, that is a great point that you make there, Paul. Absolutely. Zidane Iqbal should have had more time. I mean, I suppose, but people said the same thing about James Garner when he went. He was gutted about that, and has he really pulled trees up for Everton? So I trust Ten Hag's decision making, to be honest. Why don't City use players like Palmer, Ibrahim Diaz, Trafford, McAtee, Sancho? I looked at a stat the other day. Man City have made £400 million from academy sales. How crazy is that? I don't even think we've made that from player sales in the past 5 years. So fuck off, James Garner. Just scored for Everton. You're lying. Oh, the timing of that. Jesus. Wow. Andrew Robinson, mate, you're gone, pal. You're doing my head in now. You're just a bitter man. Sin a bit. What an absolute clown he is. I think he's one of them guys that wakes up in the morning. He goes, I can't wait to troll this guy. I'm going to sit here all day because everybody's rejecting me and I'm insecure and I'm just going to call this guy a piece of shit all the time. Surely it's Saturday. Surely you have something better to do. Absolute idiot. Don't understand it. Don't understand some people, honestly. If my Burnley football manager is anything to go by, then Altay Bayindir will be number 1 by the end of the season. Wow, that's a big shout. No, he didn't. What a reaction, though. Henry's had me. You've had me, Henry. You've had me. And don't forget to like and share, says Triple H. Thank you very much, Triple H. You're a legend. Bob Amon says another versatile forward, Usman Diamande, and an 8 next summer on the squad will be complete. I'll be really happy if we can get a result tomorrow. Use new players, Amrabat and Højlund. I'm looking forward to Højlund. I am looking forward to Højlund's debut, absolutely. And so are the rest of the lads. So make sure you come and join us for the Arsenal preview at 5 o'clock. Me, Shreyas, Chive, and Sam will be discussing that game. I mentioned before there'll be trivia, there'll be a combined 11, score predictions, predicted teams, all that kind of good stuff. So do come and join us. 5 o'clock. You do not want to miss that. Everyone who's been in the chat, you're all a bunch of legends. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Equally to the people in TikTok, the ones that are trolling, suck your mum. And yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Peace.